Yesterday, Apple released watchOS 11 Beta 5 to developers. Mostly this is a bug fix update, but we're going to just kind of go through and see what else is there. So if I go ahead and close this out, I did notice, so if we go into edit mode and hit the plus, now the only new watch face that they're touting is the photo face. So that's definitely new. Before we had like 3 or 4 watch faces on here that you could go through, but now they're just showing off the new photo face. So hopefully that means that they're making room for some new watch faces. The photo face is still kind of, lackluster. I like the new layout, but you still can't add the photo face itself to the watch from the watch. You have to do it from your iPhone. So that's definitely like a big drawback right there. But along with the photo face, if we go back to watch faces, multi-photo faces seem to be working again. Before those were not. So that's good to see. So you can add a watch face with multiple photos again, and it will cycle through them. That was a bug, I believe, with the last beta or maybe the one before that. The complications are still kind of lacking on here. There's a decent amount, but we still don't have like a music or now playing complication, and we also don't have the messages complication on here. So if you like those complications, they are still not out there for the watch. So hopefully Apple gets that fixed sooner than later. Still, personally, I am enjoying on my Apple Watch Ultra the ability to have your kind of like vitals and training load on the bezel. I think that's just like a pretty nice, and it just gives me more information. All the other ones that they had, like the elevation, the depth, and just the seconds hand, just weren't really informative. So it's cool to see that you can have your training. So over on this side, you get your vitals, so everything was typical. And over here, you get your training load, which currently above, which is great. So I love being able to see that kind of info directly on the watch bezel, which is kind of cool. There is another bug that I want to see if Apple has fixed yet. And that is if you go into settings, and let's go ahead and go back out, because I didn't check this on the last build, so I'm really curious to see if they fix this yet. So with shortcuts on the Apple Watch Ultra, you have that quick switch option, and they gave you the option to turn off and on certain items. So far in all my tests, it was never working. Like, it worked once for me and then never worked again. It would always show. So right now, when I tap and hold the action button, stopwatch, waypoint, and backtrack should all not be visible. So let's go ahead and go out and press that button and hold it. Okay, so it looks like it is working now. So you can see right here, all those items were removed. So that's great to see that they finally got that little bug fixed. So let's go right back here. Back to the quick switch. I'm just gonna put stopwatch back in. I don't actually need dive in. Let's see what else. Accessibilities I don't need in. I never use the recognize music. So those are the ones that I probably would want to actually see. Go out of it, go out of it, go back to the home, tap and hold, and there we go. Everything seems to be working properly. So if you don't know what this is, so what it does is, let's say if I stay on flashlight, so now I can just tap that, and now if I just hit it quickly, the flashlight turns on. But maybe I don't always want that, and I want to be able to quickly switch to something else. So if I tap and hold, I can go to the stopwatch. Now if I tap it, now the action button is the stopwatch. So it gives you that ability to quickly switch what your action button does throughout the day, which is really, really nice. If you want to have it to where you don't have to do stuff like that, you can set up shortcuts. I have videos on that showing you how to set up the process, but like if I hit this when I'm in my shortcut, it takes a second. I believe the Ultra 2 is a little bit faster, but now I have all these shortcuts that I can quickly do. So I can turn off different lights in my house, and I can start different workouts that I normally would want to do directly from my watch. A video to how to set this up will be at the end of this video. Now, according to Apple's release notes on this beta, there's a lot that supposedly has been fixed, but I've kind of noticed a lot of these are stuff that they've already talked about. So they still point out a known issue with tapping live activity does not launch watch apps. So we'll have to test that here in just a second. Resolved. Yeah, most of this stuff, like the download music button, has been in there for a very long time. The depth crashing bug has been in there for a long time. Supposedly they fixed that, but I'm pretty sure they fixed that in a previous beta. So a lot of this stuff, I feel like they're just copying and pasting. Cycle tracking widget loses background legibility. So apparently that's been resolved. But once again, I'm pretty sure I've seen all this talked about before. So there must be some new stuff, but I'm not sure. One new feature is a firmware image for iBoot will be made available. See, most of this stuff is nothing for consumer. It's all just kind of bug fixes and developer fixes for people that are creating apps for the Apple Watch. So now it looks like tapping an episode and up next on the widget will launch the app instead of starting playback. Now I have seen that, so we will test that out as well. And we got some subscription store. All this is kind of developer stuff. Depreciated. Okay. And some Swift chart stuff, Swift UI stuff. So most of this is developer related. So the live activities not working seems to be more for those that use WK support. So I don't know if there's anything I can do to actually test that right now, because I'm not sure which apps use that and which apps don't. And the live activities is kind of buggy to begin with, just to even get stuff to pop up. So that one I probably cannot really test, but we can test the podcast to see if it plays or just launches, because I believe I even have that one already on here. Nope, I just have music. Well, let's try music. Let's see what this one does. So if I tap, is it going to launch? Well, that's interesting. Just kind of flashes. So, oh, here we go. And now it's giving me an option of where to play it. So yeah, it looks like it's just going to go ahead and start playing the audio. I don't actually listen to podcasts on the podcast app. So I think all these that it's going to show are just ones that either my wife listens to or I use for test. But let's go ahead, tap on it and see what happens. It does that weird blinking and it looks like it's going to choose. So if I choose iPhone, it's probably just going to start playing it on my iPhone. Yeah, there you go. So that bug seems to be working now. So instead of just launching the app, what it does is it actually starts playing. You can see the live activity automatically popped up as well once it started playing. I know a lot of people, the live activities is kind of annoying for them because it's always popping up when you're playing stuff and you always get this. If you do want to turn that off, you can. So all you have to do is go into settings, go into your smart stack, live activities, and allow live activities or auto launch live activities. So if I turn off auto launch live activities, and then I can go back in, swipe up, let's go back to the podcast, tap on that again, so it will actually start playing. Maybe it will pick the iPhone. Nope, here we go. Tap iPhone. Now you can see the live, it's playing the audio, but it's not automatically going into that live activity. I can still swipe up and get to that, which is nice, but it's not just going to automatically pop up and stay up there, which a lot of people have found annoying. I'm one of those people because I never liked the music app always taking over to begin with, and now this was another way for it to do it. So you can turn that off. It's pretty simple. Battery life wise, I wouldn't say it's been doing too well. So if I go out of here and I go down to battery, I'm at 70%. Last charge was at 938. Sorry, I'm breaking in because I actually caught something while I was editing the video. So you'll notice I'm down to 64% now. But this is saying last charge was Monday at 8:39 a.m. and it was only charged at 84%, which that would be amazing if, you know, it lasted that long from 84 a whole nother day extra and only lost 20%, but that is not true at all. I didn't really catch it because I did charge it to about 100% around 9:30 to 10 o'clock last night. So for whatever reason, it did not record that it was charged on here. So I don't know if that's a bug that we're going to keep seeing or if that's just like a one-time instance bug. So overnight while I was sleeping, it did drop more than 20%. I really miss those days when it would only drop like 10% or less. But that's just not the case, especially during a beta. Betas just do more. They do more logging. They do more like communicating with Apple just so Apple can find different bugs and stuff like that and see how performance is going. So keep all that in mind. If you do install the beta, you're always going to have worse battery life than you do with a final release. So the battery health of this Ultra, this is the Ultra 1, is down to 89%. It always kind of hurts once you drop below that 90%, but the Ultra is still one of the best watches to use if you are testing betas because that extra battery life really does come in handy. But keep that in mind, you know, battery life's always going to be worse. I've already dropped another percent when you're on a beta. Hopefully things calm down, but right now battery life's kind of been a little bit rough. Now, I also did want to say that I have 18.1 on my phone. So I have the new Siri on here. You can see it's beautiful, but it is not on the watch. Obviously there's no 11.1. I don't think the watch is going to get a bunch of this stuff. I'm hoping we at least get that new animation. As of right now, it's still just old Siri. Hopefully we'll see at least the new animation come to the watch. Maybe it will only be for the new watches if those watches get some kind of Apple intelligence. But either way, I would still love to see the new Siri animation on the watch. I think it would look absolutely amazing. I mean, it will kind of showcase where the actual bezel is. So obviously this watch does not go all the way to the sides of the screen, but I still think it will look great. One other complication that I did want to check out is to see what activity complication does now, just to see if there's anything new in here. So we got the training load, that is a new complication, and we got all these distance ones and different workout ones, but there's still no step counting app, and I really wish Apple would give us that, but they just don't. If you are looking for one, I recently made a video and I'll share that at the end as well, and it is called Step Dog. So it does it in a completely unique way. So if I go ahead and launch it right here, you will see you get a little dog. It tracks your steps. You can compete if you'd like. It's got great widgets and great complications, all different sorts of dogs to pick from. I picked a beagle because that's the dog I actually have, but I have that video. If you'd like to watch it, it's right here. And if you want to watch about how to do more with your action button, that video is right here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.